I just wanted to share some thoughts, hopes, and worries about the exciting news that there will be an Animorphs movie. I have a few of the books behind me, if you don't know what the Animorphs are, but now is not the time to explain that. You'll get some from my hopes and thoughts and worries. I want to stipulate right away, right off the bat, I'm going to love this movie, whatever happens. And whatever I say going forward about being worried about anything or really hoping for something, I'm going to love it, whatever it is. Um, but I will start with a combination worry hope, and I think most of these things are combinations of worry and hope. But um, a lot of blockbuster type movies recently, and I'm guessing that's what Animorphs is going to try to be, a blockbuster type movie. Especially if they're the first or if they're early in the franchise, the movie people feel like they have to do a ton of world building, set up all sorts of sequels and spin offs and offshoots uh, right in the first movie. And what often gets lost is there actually being a story. Um, and stories, I think, are more important when it comes to getting people to want there to be sequels than showing people exactly what the sequels are going to be. So my worry is that Animorphs might fall into that trap, just because not because it's Animorphs specifically, but because a lot of movies do fall into that trap, and it's going to be a movie, which means it's susceptible. My hope tied to that worry is that they don't, and that they actually find a good creative way to reshuffle the sequence of events that makes up the Animorphs' overarching story uh, for the first movie, so that even if I go in, I know everything about Animorphs, but I don't know how this particular story is going to unfold. Um, each individual thin book, if you were doing a television show, episodic, 45 minutes to an hour per episode, as I have often written and said, would be my way of doing it if I were doing it, which I'm not. Um, with that, it makes more sense for each book to get its own thing, but you're not going to get a movie, a 90-minute to 2-hour movie from each of those thin books. So my hope is that they'll get a little from book one, a little from book four, maybe some book five, and then sprinkle in the others, maybe touch on all the books for character development reasons, but it'll just be interesting to see how they mix and match and make it make sense. I don't know if it's a planned trilogy or if they don't know how many, they're going to get as many as they can without an end in sight. Um, but whatever it is, I hope that what it ends up being is just something new and interesting, uh, but built of familiar elements. Um, it's I think somebody, and I forget who. It was something I read earlier, and I don't know where I read it, but somebody was involved in bringing the Hunger Games to the big screen, and the Hunger Games, like Animorphs, very violent and the kind of thing where I read it and I'm thinking, kids read this, but I read Animorphs when I was a kid. Um, so I think that they're in good hands. If they're, I didn't see the last two Hunger Games movies, but I liked the first two. I don't know if you can hear the helicopter. It's not here for me. Um, and that brings me to another worry slash hope. Just that the books are violent, and they are also disturbing in other ways. And while I realize that putting it on a screen, they probably won't be as gory, probably not as bloody, but you can have exciting action movies without blood. I don't know of many superhero movies that have a lot of blood and guts and gore in them. The Animorphs books do have a lot of that, but they don't need. I don't feel like it's going to lose much if they make that a bit cleaner for younger viewers. Um, So I guess that's a double-headed worry. I hope that they don't go too far toward correcting, but I also hope that it's palatable for the widest possible audience. On the flip side of that is morphing. Can also be disturbing to look at. Not that I've ever seen it in person, other than on the old Nickelodeon TV show. But they always say in the books, the characters say morphing is unpredictable and often disgusting, and that's what I want it to be. Um, I guess it's called body horror. The phenomena, or the trope in movies and TV. Cassie is a notably good morpher, and the reason they make a point of saying that in the books is that everyone else, it looks ugly and random, and it's and icky. And so again, don't necessarily go out of the way to scare the children with uh, the morphing scenes, but I hope that they don't iron out the wrinkles. I hope that you do get some, like, maybe people want to turn away a little bit when they see them morphing into a fly. But then again, do great things with Cassie. Cassie is the canvas for the special effects people to paint their masterpieces when they want to do something pretty with morphing. But the ugly morphing can be a masterpiece too. I don't know how to do special effects, but I imagine it'd be just as satisfying to make a creepy morph as a pretty morph. Um, so yeah, those are the big ones. Hoping for a cast of unknown kids. I don't necessarily need to see one of the Stranger Things kids in the Animorphs, but if that's what happens, that's what happens. Um, it would be fun to see some bigger names in the adult roles, mainly Andy Serkis as Visser 3, a role that would allow him to do wonderful things with the motion capture, which he is so closely associated with and does so well, but also appear as himself. Visser 3 has a human form and is Andalite form. Um, so that's the only real casting thing that I have strong feelings about, other than I would want to play Alfangor. And speaking of me being involved, obviously I'm not involved. But if anybody is watching and they have hiring power, I will be the guy who gets the coffee for the person who gets the coffee for everybody else. I'll do anything to be part of this. So there's ways of contacting me through all the social media stuff in the description below. If you need somebody to get the coffee for the person who gets the coffee, or I can do other things too. I've got a lot of very varied experience being the person lowest on the production totem pole. Um, so yeah, length of the movies, uh, special effects, gore, morphing, casting. It'll be interesting. Back when Animorphs was the biggest thing, I didn't really have my finger on the pulse of um, popular culture um, like I do now. I don't know that anybody really did, because the internet is why the phenomena that happen today happen. So it'll be interesting for me and other Animorphs fans to see how the rest of the world takes this thing that we love so much. Whether they think, oh, it's another Stranger Things, it's another Game of Thrones, or it's another Harry Potter, or they think, what is this? What does it think it's doing? What does it think it's the new Harry Potter? It'll be interesting to see how, as has happened a couple of times in my life, how it feels when the rest of the world uh, is given reign to judge on a big scale in the pop culture landscape what has been so important to me, just private me, uh, and other people, but I'm not really, I don't think, part of the online Animorphs community. So it'd be interesting to see that the reaction that the world has, where Animorphs falls when it's finally given its new 21st century spotlight. There's that helicopter again. Let's see. There's also going to be a graphic novel, and I'm less interested in that, just because I'm less interested in the format. But I may give it a shot. Like the movie, I think that the idea with the graphic novel is they're finding a new way to tell the same story. So shuffling things around, shuffling the sequences around. So I might give it a look, but I don't know that I will be going to buy one every month like when the original books came out. But again, the movie's different. The book, the graphic novels will have great illustrations, but this is a great illustration. I already have a great illustration of an Andalite, and we've got great illustrations of Andalites and Hork-Bajir in action on the inner pages of other books in the series. But in the movie, this is a hope. I hope that the Andalites are as beautiful as they deserve to be. Again, that's a nice illustration, but a movie special effects quality Andalite with the hair, the fur glistening and waving in the wind, the tail with the whip action that they just couldn't do in the Nickelodeon TV show, the eyes, like to see the eyes, the main eyes on the face, and then the stalk eyes, all the same eyes, and expressing the same, like, it's referenced in a couple of books, an Andalite smile, and they smile with their eyes because they don't have mouths, and, I wonder how it will look with the stalk eyes, if the smile will reach the stalk eyes, and to see that, to see the Hork-Bajir, hopefully we eventually get to see them in their natural habitat, climbing and eating bark and not being violent, but they're going to be very cool movie monsters for a while, exclusively when the only Hork-Bajir on screen are Yeerks. They're going to be cool movie monsters for a while, and hopefully they get their chance. Hopefully the franchise, the movies progress to the point they get to keep making them until we get to see the real Hork-Bajir behavior, the natural Hork-Bajir behavior. And Taxons and all the other aliens. There are so many, and they are some of my favorite aliens in science fiction, and to see them, again, movie quality special effects. I don't know if the Hork-Bajir warriors, or eventually the Hork-Bajir, the free Hork-Bajir, will be people in, like, stuntmen in motion capture outfits. But that would be cool to see how they move. Lots to be excited about. Before I forget, I'm putting a bunch of links to places where you can donate to help be part of the solution to... There are a lot of things that need solving right now, and I think I've got a link for each of them, at least one link for each of them. At least the main things of the moment. I'm just plugging in the computer. So that's there, and also I will link to it, even though it's on my YouTube page too. But I've been experimenting with iMovie, and I did a video of an alternate version of the song "You're the Top," in which I replace all of the lyrics from the Cole Porter lyrics with references to science fiction and fantasy elements. I did this for my roommate for Christmas a couple of years ago, and I wrote it a couple of years ago, and then I made a video. And Animorphs makes an appearance, and if you are into Animorphs, probably you'll be into a lot of the other things that are referenced in the song. So you can check that out too. I'm just trying to think before I go if there are any other hopes, thoughts, worries. Catherine Applegate and Michael Grant are involved, so that doesn't really, it's not a worry, that's not a hope, it's not a thought, it's just they're there. So it will be good. It's good that they're going to be there. Um, and Yeah, I am excited by the prospect. Who knows when any movie is going to start filming at this point, but uh, I think this is um, the closest we've gotten to there being an actual Animorphs movie. So far as what I've read, the deal is done. It is supposed to happen. When, how, if, we just hope for the best. So those are my thoughts, hopes, and worries. I thought there'd be more, but I guess not. Concerning the new Animorphs movie, I'll probably think of more, but I probably won't make another video. Um, if you have specific thoughts, hopes, or worries regarding the Animorphs movie, I would love to hear them, especially if I didn't say them, because you will probably, by sharing, put into words what I have not been able to put into words. So you'll be helping me out, and I'm curious to know what you think. But in the meantime, ram the blade ship.